So welcome back to Brian and Tammy's Thoughtful Spot. We're going to hit up the Disney Parks current events. I'm Brian.
And I'm Tammy.
Welcome back. Watch for us to be on our own feed in a few weeks here. You might be finding us on the Miles from Main Street feed right now, but we will be starting on our own feed, which is live. It's the Thoughtful Spot. You can find it on any of your favorite podcast providers. And you'll be able to find us over there on our own feed as well as on the Miles from Main Street feed right now. So be sure to watch out for that. We will be going on to our own feed and off of the Miles from Main Street feed in about 3 weeks. So that being said, if you're enjoying the show, please be sure to go out and share it with a friend. So Tammy, it's been a good week. We had Thanksgiving. Did you enjoy your Thanksgiving?
Of course. It's always fun to get together with family.
It's always a good time. I had a good time, although very busy. I was pretty tired by the time I got to Monday. It was good to have that break back at work.
It was, yeah. But it's always good to have your family come to town because it doesn't happen that often.
So we'll get into some Disney Parks news. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right. So we'll start with the first one. I chuckle every time I hear this because it's over a year coming. But they have started installing Hey Disney devices in the Polynesian resort. It's some of the hotel rooms. I think they're doing this just as testing right now. But if you don't know, this is like an Echo Show from Amazon, but it's got special Disney park stuff that you can ask. So instead of saying, "Hey Alexa," you'll say, "Hey Disney," and like Mickey Mouse will answer you.
Are these do they have like the Disney ears on them too? Like,
yeah, I believe they do. Yeah, it's got a special screen that'll talk to you and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of cool. Like when we've gone, we usually will call and get call the front desk and have them do the wake up call for us because it's done in like a Disney character, right? So I think kids especially would really like something like that.
Yeah, and it's going to give you a lot more information about the parks. You can ask it specific questions if you want, which might be a little easier than calling maybe, the front desk or whatever. So I think that's interesting. And just to touch on why I chuckle at this, the D23 Destination D that was done about this time last year promised free Hey Disney Echo Dots, I believe, to all the attendees at the panel. And the group I'm in, I feel like every couple of weeks someone's asking about it. And so now they're finally getting them into the resorts because I think they were supposed to be out in spring. So it's a little late in coming, but they're finally getting them out. And hopefully those people that got the free ones get them soon. But I think this will be fun to play with when we do finally get back to Disney World. And they're in all the rooms at that point, I'm sure. So this past Sunday, the Disney Christmas TV special was on. I always look forward to this show. Being a busy weekend, we only caught bits and pieces of it. But you had a favorite part?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Run DMC part, and I don't know if that's because we're children of the 80s, 90s era, and I just remember listening to them or what, but usually I look at these older artists and I'm like, man, they're old. They just don't have it anymore. I thought they were really good.
Yeah, they still seem to be the same Run DMC that you're used to seeing. So that was really cool. I was looking forward to it, and I liked how they built it up until the end. Black Eyed Peas was on there. That was kind of fun to see them again. I know they've been kind of in the wings, so to speak. So it was good to have them back.
I also caught the Meghan Trainor part, and I was a little disappointed that she didn't do a Christmas song, I guess, since it was the Christmas special, but I don't even know where was she? Was that Main Street in Disneyland? I don't know. No, it wasn't in Disney World, but
no, she was in
it was Disneyland?
Yeah, she was in Disneyland.
Okay.
She was in New Orleans Square.
Okay. So I thought the background around her. So it was kind of like a narrower street, and they were like walking down it. I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool, just like the cinematography that they did with it.
Yeah, I thought that was cool too. And let's remember that when we're watching this first one, and they show it all like at night, they are also filming with them during the day. And so Meghan Trainor will be back for the quote-unquote Christmas parade on Christmas Day. It's not so much parade as it is just performances at this point. But, yeah, she'll be back. So, maybe that part of her contract said that she would do a Christmas song for that episode.
Right. Could be, yeah.
So that pianist was Chloe Flower. I want to make sure I got her name in here because I'd never heard of her before. But they presented her as a pianist that includes hip hop within it. So she did a couple of Christmas tunes. Neo and Becky G were singing with her. I thought it was really cool what she was doing. She could play too, so that was fun. So quite a show. We were in and out. We were trying to decorate the tree at the same time. So, I hope everyone was able to see it, and be sure to check out the Disney Christmas parade, I'll call it, on Christmas Day. I believe it starts at 9 a.m. Central. That's where we are. So that's what I'll tell you.
Our family always looks forward to watching that.
So to stay in the Christmas vein, Festival of the Holidays started on Black Friday down in Disney World at Epcot. It's going to run from November 25th, which was Black Friday, until December 30th. There's going to be holiday kitchens, a holiday cookie stroll, the storytellers within each country, and Santa will be in the Odyssey building meeting people, which looked really neat when I saw it on some video already. I believe Tim Tracker was there kind of showing them off. And for the kids that might not enjoy all of those items, there's going to be the Olaf scavenger hunt. And they have done these with all the festivals now, where there's a character hidden somewhere within each country, and once you've completed finding that character, there is a prize that you get at the end. So definitely something the kids enjoy doing, and go check it out. It's usually a small fee, maybe $10 for the map.
Yeah, and you usually get a gift at the end. I think this year it was like some kind of a bag. I don't know. I saw it on something we were watching. I think it was like a bag of some sort. Like, I don't know, like a little pouch or something. I can't remember exactly. But it usually has a few different characters you can choose from.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like maybe a makeup bag type of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely go check that out. They're always really cute little gifts that you get for doing the scavenger hunt, and the kids love finding them. So
yeah, it kept all of us busy, honestly. We all liked looking for it, and they usually have them like posed in some unique, cute little way or something. They're not just sitting there.
Yeah, like they might have a candy cane, like Olaf would probably have a candy cane, or maybe a snow G is with them. So, like it's cool to find them. The holiday cookie stroll is something that I really want to get down there to try. I think it's kind of fun that they do this.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun too. And also I think it's something our whole family would really enjoy doing.
Yeah, and definitely something, you're looking to buy 5 cookies. So it's definitely something you can share. You can break that cookie up and everyone gets a bite.
I mean, let's be honest. We'd at least need 2.
Oh, fine. You're always adding more.
There are 5 of us.
I'll find a 5-point cutter of some sort. I'm thinking of like the Apple core thing. I'll bring that along and we can cut it all up into pieces.
Mm-hmm. And if you think your children would let you get away with that small of a piece of cookie for themselves, you're crazy.
I can try.
You can try.
But that leads into a good point with the festivals. We've often heard about getting a gift card when you're there so that you can control your spending. You can always add more if that's what you want to do, but at least you know where you are.
Well, and we did do that for the festival we went to that I can't think of the name of right now.
Flower and Garden.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. We have done that. And I kind of thought, like when you have a family of 5, especially with our family, because, my daughter's 16 and my son is now 18, and they might not want to share. And so they might want to go off on their own a little bit. But also you might want to do this as a meal, like a strolling meal.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what we did that day. We didn't do like a sit-down dinner or anything. We just had the gift card and we kind of wandered from country to country and tried different things. And Jacob did end up going off on his own, and he went to some little stand in Mexico, and it was, I can't even remember what he had, if it was a burrito or like what it was, but he still talks about it. It was like one of his top foods he's ever eaten, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was something he had looked up on the way there. It was, and he's like, when we came back, he's like, I got these tamales, or I can't remember.
I can't either.
It was something cheesy, I want to say, but he just loved them, and it was something he had found on his own, and he was really proud of it. I want to say he was more like 14 or 15 at that point, but but in that vein, like if it's a strolling meal and we were sharing one gift card, it was kind of like, okay, we're going to go order this one. And, it's like a tasting type of deal. So everybody gets a bite and then you're moving on. And the end of one of the nights that we did this, we were walking out and you had said, like, I'm starving. I didn't get anything to eat.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it depends on who you're with too. Like, we have a child that is really into food and likes to try everything. And so she ate a lot of whatever we got, and which was fine. And I just was hungry then by the end of the night.
Yeah. And I specifically stopped and got her something that she had been looking forward to, even though the rest of us were kind of done. But so my thought on this, getting back to the tip, is maybe instead of getting one gift card with $150 on it or $200 or whatever you've decided the budget is, split it up amongst your party and let them each get their own gift card. You're still controlling your spending. And, at the end of the night, if each card has a few dollars left on it, you can go, when you get back to your room, you can go on DisneyGiftCard.com. And you can combine those all onto one gift card if you want, so that you're not like wasting a couple of dollars on each card or having trouble spending it, right?
Right.
So I think that, when you are out with your family, this is this dawned on me the other day. I'm like, this is a great idea. Why didn't we think of this?
Yeah, we'll have to remember that for the next festival.
Yeah. And then everyone's getting their own meal. Like, if you're thinking, I'll spend $30 a person on a meal, then they can just go along and pick whatever they want, and that's what they get. So, just something to think about. These storytellers. Have you ever watched a video of these storytellers?
Yeah, I have. I think they're really cool, and like, I don't know, out of our family of 3 kids, one of them would totally be into something like this. The other 2, I'm thinking not so much, but I don't know. There's got to be other stuff that they could do while we're listening, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you've got the scavenger hunt that we talked about as something. There's a lot of shops, like the foodie could be off eating, I guess. And
yeah. But the storytellers are really cool. Like, they're in the different countries, and they're kind of based off of what country they're in. And they're just, it's kind of cool. You get to learn a little bit more about, like, that heritage and how Christmas and that figure kind of came about in that country.
Yeah, so you get, like, in France, like, Pierre Noël is going to tell you their story. I recently watched the one in the UK pavilion, and he has to say something for every year he's been around. So it was like 2087 times he was supposed to say it or something like that. And it's like, he said, I'll get back to that in a minute. And then he just kind of went on. But, the point of me saying that is like, they're not just telling a story. They're being entertaining, right? There's going to be jokes. There's going to be laughs. There's going to be...
Right.
you know.
And for older kids and adults, I think that's great. But for the younger ones, it just might not hold their attention for very long.
Yeah, and it might go back to that little bit that Epcot's a difficult park for the little kids.
Yeah.
It's getting better with the amount of rides that they've added and the amount of characters that they've added. But when it comes to these countries, at some point they're going to get bored. So, Festival of the Holidays, it's something that we have not done. It is something that is on our list. We definitely want to get down there for the Christmas celebration. I think we've pretty much made every season down there, but we have not made it for Christmas. So
yeah, that's definitely on our Disney bucket list.
It sure is. It sure is. But also on our Disney bucket list is Disneyland. And I'm so excited. We're 63 days out, I think. And we're heading out to California, and we're going to get to be there at the beginning of the Disney100 celebration. It starts on January 27th. If you remember any of this information from D23, they did announce a little bit more information. As I said, January 27th is when it'll start. There will be merch. They've already shown some, and I couldn't tell. I think it's a popcorn bucket of Mickey Mouse in his platinum outfit that they've come up with for the 100th anniversary. And this 100th anniversary is for the company. The company's been around for 100 years next year. The castle, Sleeping Beauty Castle, looks cool. They're going to be adding all kinds of buntings and stuff to it like they kind of did with the Cinderella's castle for the 50th.
So part of me is very excited about that, and part of me is not, because we've never been there. So, like, you were just asking me the other day if I wanted to see the Haunted Mansion or if I wanted to see the Haunted Mansion layover, and it's like, well, both, but so that's kind of like how I feel about the castle too. Like, I'm excited to see what they're going to do to it, but I also, since I've never seen it in its original state other than in pictures, I kind of wish we got to see it that way too.
Yeah, I totally agree. And as I'm talking about the castle having these decorations on it, I'm thinking, I haven't seen the castle on its own yet.
Yeah.
But we're missing out on Disney World's 50th, just because of how timing worked out with how we had traveled there. But because we get to go to Disneyland, it's kind of exciting that we get to see the 100th.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that we'll never get out to Disneyland again, but it's not going to happen often just because we are Florida park people, and I don't think this trip is going to change our mind. I think that Disney World is probably still going to be our favorite, but I am super excited to get to go see it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So as I was saying, like, there's a popcorn bucket and the castle, and the statue of Mickey and the Disney100 logo is going to be there, which I'm excited to see that and where they put it. I saw some video. They were doing some filming for the TV special that they wheeled out the giant Mickey statue. Like, this thing's huge.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting to see. And then again, we haven't seen World of Color yet, and they're going to change it to World of Color 1, and it's going to be the 100th anniversary kind of version of it. And they're also going to have a new fireworks show. So we get to see new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see anything at this point because it's been a little bit since we've been to a park. So
yeah, it has.
And I'm probably going to spend all of our money on the Disney merch for the 100th. I'm pretty sure that's where all of my souvenir money's going to go. So
yeah, there's a Spirit jersey that looks really neat. So
and I'm a sucker for the popcorn bucket.
Right. And I think all of us are at this point. But another thing that I was super excited to see is that they are bringing back the Lunar New Year festival. And that will be starting on January 15th. And it'll run until February 20th. So there's going to be the Lunar New Year procession This is Mulan's Lunar New Year procession, and it will have Mulan and Mushu, but they also get Mickey and Minnie out there in these like Lunar New Year costumes that are really cool. So I'm excited to see that. There will be Hurry Home. It's a Lunar New Year celebration water show. It's going to be before World of Color. So that'll be cool. I think it's like a 10 or 15 minute thing that they have before World of Color is presented.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Mushu. Like, I think that's a pretty cool character to get to meet, like, or see walking around.
Yeah, you never see
somebody
Mushu.
you ever see.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. And again, this is set up like a festival at Epcot, so we'll have the marketplace, and they'll have the kitchens or whatever they call them. You know, the food booths that we like to go to.
Yeah, Paige is very excited about that. Like that, she is a foodie, and her and I were talking about that this festival was going to be going on, and that's the part she was like, so we get to go try different foods, and I was like, yep, that's part of it.
So they'll have some live entertainment. They haven't said who that's going to be yet. And there's a sip and savor pass that they do for the festivals out there, where you buy this card and it has coupons for certain treats and drinks on it. And it kind of gives you a tasting or a sampling of everything that's there to be offered.
Yeah, and also you're going to be able to meet Raya, which I think that's pretty cool. Mia will really like that, I think, because, again, that's a character you don't get to see very often.
Yeah, totally. I think that's great that they're bringing her back. They had her out right after the movie.
Yep.
So that'll be really cool to have her out. That's the thing about Disneyland, is that they pump out characters left and right. Yeah,
so from everything I've seen, though, like, it's not like Disney World where you can, like, necessarily go up and hug them and stuff, but they're just kind of traveling around, right?
A lot of that's what I've seen. A lot of them just kind of walk around, and they'll stop for a selfie or even autographs. They'll stop and they'll take pictures and stuff, but they're kind of bouncing around, so you got to catch them.
I think that's cool, though, because then you can kind of be like, it's almost like a scavenger hunt in and of itself for the kids. Like, hey, I really want to see this character. Let's go walking around and see if we can find them, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. They've got all these new characters in Star Wars Land. I always call it Star Wars Land, but it's Galaxy's Edge. They just introduced Mandalorian. We talked about that last week, and they're also walking around, and they really don't stop. They don't sign. They're more in character than the characters in the rest of the park. But the Fab Five, maybe Sensational Six. I'm not sure if Daisy is always up there, but Chip and Dale as well. They'll be up front in Town Square meeting people, and they'll have lines up there where you can go up and hug and talk to them a little bit and get some pictures. So, with Disneyland being a locals park, people aren't as worried about meeting the characters. So that's why they move around more.
Right. I don't know. I'm interested to see how much our kids are into doing that this time, just because we have two pretty older kids now. So, but I still think, and I don't know, Mia's 9, so I still think she's going to be into that, though.
Yeah, I think so. I know I'm thinking about Alice walking around, and I believe Jasmine and Aladdin walk around, but they do have Princess Fairy Tale Hall, so you do kind of get a queue for the princesses, and they can get lengthy there. But yeah, I think the characters are going to be a lot of fun to interact with in Disneyland.
Yeah, I agree.
Just to finish up a little bit about Lunar New Year, they'll have, of course, merchandise. They'll have some crafts and other activities, and
maybe that's where I'll spend my money instead.
You never know. You never know what you might find.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was really excited that they brought this back. It was something I'd been looking for. So we'll be looking for the menus for that coming out later, and And then to finish up with Disneyland, we had one thing announced today that on February 23rd in Disneyland, they will be having the Magic Happens Parade returning. I saw a video of this when it first came out, and this was only out for a couple of weeks before everything shut down in March of 2020. And it's a really, really cool parade. It looks really fun, very interactive, very active people within the parade. So I was hoping when they said that this was coming back at D23 that it would be there when we get there, but unfortunately it's 3 weeks late.
Yeah. But it's nice to see that some of the stuff is starting to come back pre-COVID.
Yeah. I think, Disney World's really close to being completely back. I think part of that has been the challenge of the employee market. But Disneyland seems to have pretty much everything back at this point too, except for some closures for refurbishments and everything. But
that happens all the time. So
yeah, it'll be great to see Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway when we get there, and if it's any different from what they have at Hollywood Studios. Unfortunately, we don't get to see Toontown.
I know, I'm bummed about that.
Yeah, it's too bad, but because I did get to see it at Disney World on my first trip in the late 90s.
Yeah, I got to see it when I was younger, and I really enjoyed it.
I don't remember too much about it because I was kind of just running through the park at that point. I wasn't really worried about what I was seeing as much as just trying to get on every ride I could at that time. So that's the news this week. Please go on out to Instagram and find us at BNTS_thoughtful spot with periods in between each letter of Thoughtful Spot. We'd love to have you out there following us. Be sure you hit the subscribe button, and thank you for listening. We'll see you next week at the Thoughtful Spot,
where any day spent with you
is our favorite day.